like one rule for one, and yeah, no. And just, I don't want to be sat with people that are eating dead bodies. It's revolting. Like the smell of meat just makes me feel physically sick. And watching people, no, I just can't do it. And if people want to spend time with me badly enough, then they'll respect that. And if they don't, then, well, I guess I don't really want to spend time with them.
Hi beautiful beings, it's me, Rebecca, the Vegan Pixie Warrior, and welcome to my channel. If you've not been here before, my channel is all about uplifting other animal rights activists and giving you new ideas of ways you can advocate for the animals. I also like to talk about the Liberation Pledge, which is what actually inspired me to create this channel in the first place. If you don't know about the Liberation Pledge, then please check out this link and it will explain everything. It's my first video, so be kind, I'm a little bit wooden. A little bit Keanu Reeves, shall we say. So if that sounds like your sort of thing and you've not been here before, hit that subscribe button, like, share and comment. It all really helps my channel to grow and get bigger and for more people to see it and hopefully get inspired. So this week I'm going to be talking about the Liberation Pledge. I was doing some tidying up of my old videos that I've recorded and deleting things and ones that are rubbish, so re-record those and redo those. And I found one of an interview I did with Laura. Now you may remember, if you've been here before, I talked to Laura about some activism that she was doing. She was painting denim jackets with vegan messages on and amazing artwork of animals, cows, pigs and lots of other different animals, and she was auctioning them off to raise money for an animal sanctuary, which is just fantastic. Such a lovely idea. But what I forgot was, and how I forgot this I don't know, we talked about her Liberation Pledge. So I want to show you this, and hopefully by the end of it you'll be inspired to take the pledge like myself and like Laura and many other vegans around the world. So without further ado, we'll get on with Laura's interview. Okay, Laura, I want to welcome you back to my YouTube channel. The reason I invited you on the last time was to talk about those jackets behind you. But when we met each other at the We the Free Diamond the other week, you had one of these on.
Yay! I have two.
You have two, yes, I forgot you have two on, yeah. Like double Liberation Pledge.
Yeah, they do get caught on each other, but
doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so I was like, oh, I love it when I see someone with a bracelet on, because I was like, oh, bracelet buddies. And the whole reason I started this YouTube channel was because of the Liberation Pledge. Because part of it, if you don't know, if you haven't watched any of my videos, I'll pop a link to why I took the pledge. But part of it is to talk about the pledge and inspire others to take it. So that's why this is like a double bonus, because I get to speak to you about your activism before, and now I get to speak to you about your pledge. So I won't ask how long you've been vegan, because if people want to see that, I'll pop a link again here and they can find that on my channel of our interview recently and why you went vegan, because it's a great story, as like I said to you, everyone's is. So when did you take the pledge?
So it was, I think, September in 2019, and I hadn't ever heard of it before, and it was a result of being at Vegan Camp Out the first year that my sister and I went, which was 2019, and we saw David Rams, which I think used to be Skinny Vegan Fitness, do his talk. When he was talking, I noticed that he had a fork basically wrapped around his arm, and then he did talk about the Liberation Pledge. So when we got home, I looked it up and found a fork bracelet online, ordered it and signed up for the pledge, and that was that. So yeah.
So that's so weird, because we both went vegan in August 2017.
Yeah, within days of each other.
And I took the Liberation Pledge in September 2019 as well. That's what
twins.
And it wasn't because of that. It was for me, it was after the Animal Rights March, and I was staying with this guy in London. So I could do a Cube of Truth the next day, and he'd taken the pledge, and I knew about it and I'd heard about it. And he had a fork bracelet on, so I just asked him a bunch of questions. I was like, do you know what? That makes perfect sense. Because to me, he said, I can't be out on the streets advocating for strangers to go vegan when I'm then going and sitting with family and friends and saying it's okay for them to consume animals.
It's like one rule for one, and yeah, no. And just, I don't want to be sat with people that are eating dead bodies. It's revolting. Like the smell of meat just makes me feel physically sick. And watching people, no, I just can't do it. And if people want to spend time with me badly enough, then they'll respect that. And if they don't, then, well, I guess I don't really want to spend time with them.
Well, I've got this saying, and I say it on every video, is that my family and friends would rather have animals on the table than me sat around the table. Which, when you say it like that, that really hurts. Like,
it's so bleak.
yeah. Not only is I'm not trying, well, I am trying to get you to go vegan by making you eat vegan food and talking about the pledge, but I'm just asking you to do one meal.
Yeah.
Where
you really that hard.
and break bread with me because I'm your friend or your daughter or your sister or whoever, and that's all I'm asking you to do for one meal. And you won't, it hurts. I mean, don't get me wrong, some of my family and friends have been great, but some of them not so much.
Mm-hmm.
So what were your reasons for taking the pledge? So you saw David Rams and it was just literally you'd had enough of seeing people, or?
Yeah, I mean, obviously because I'd been vegetarian for a long time before becoming vegan, I'd never really been comfortable sitting around people that were eating meat, but obviously I was still consuming animal secretions and hadn't really thought anything of that. But now with everything that I know, I don't even see that any of that as food. It literally is just violence, isn't it? And so I don't want to be around that. I wouldn't sit with people that were, overtly racist or did other horrible things. So why do I want to sit around with people that are happy to eat dead bodies? I'm not. So yeah, hearing David speak about it, and then, like I say, looking into it and seeing how many other people have taken the pledge, I just thought, yeah, I can do that. It's something that it's, in a way, it's not that difficult. You wear your fork bracelet and you just ask people not to eat dead animals in front of you. So I've taken the pledge with the level of, I will eat somewhere like a restaurant that does serve meat and things, but I won't sit with people that are consuming it, because I think to go the hardest level, for want of a better word, I don't know, I feel like that would close too many doors, and people to be able to see that lots of mainstream places do have vegan options, that I guess it just makes it easier for people to try things. And yeah, it's just slightly more accessible, I suppose. I suppose it's viewed as less extreme. So
yeah. I should explain to people as well, and I think I explained it on my first video, which I'm just like this in this chair going, oh, I'm so nervous. And now I'm just like too relaxed. But there are 3 kind of levels to the pledge. So one is you will eat with people when they're eating vegetarian food. The second is you will eat with people when they're only eating vegan food, but you'll eat in non-vegan places. And the third is that you'll only eat in vegan establishments. So I know a couple of people that are taking the pledge and they will only eat in vegan establishments, but I'm the same as you. And this is what I didn't know about the pledge before I took it until I spoke to my friend Mark, was I thought, like, how are we going to create demand for these vegan projects if we're only eating in vegan places? Because I love Wagamama's, is one of my favorite chain. Well, it's probably my only favorite chain restaurant, actually. But in their vegan menu now is 50% vegan. Their whole menu is amazing. And we have to create that demand. I agree. And I don't like the smell of it either. But if I'm sat in a restaurant and people are behind me, then that's fine. I'm interacting with people in front of me and sat around me. So it does bother me.
Kind of block it out a bit more, and it's not right in front of you.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm all for supporting fully vegan places as well. Like, and given the option, then that's what I will always choose. But there aren't vegan places everywhere, so the next best thing is to go somewhere that offers vegan options.
Yeah. So, I mean, for my birthday in 2019, it was my first birthday I've taken the pledge. I purposely chose 100% vegan restaurant because I knew that some of the people that I'd invited, that they would choose animals if they had animals as an option. They just would. So yeah, that went down really well. And they couldn't really say much because there was 20 like AV volunteers with us as well. So there was like 4 omnivores and like 20 vegans were sat around on my birthday. It's like, this is brilliant. This is the way forward. And how did you go about telling your friends and family that you'd taken the pledge?
Yes, so some people asked me about my bracelet, so then I was able to explain about the pledge because of that. So that was probably easier than having to just outright say to someone, by the way, I'm no longer going to be eating with you if you are going to eat animal bodies or secretions. Some people have been brilliant about it. Well, in fact, most people. I'd say the hardest thing was actually work. I don't work with a huge amount of people, but this is really bad. I kept my veganism secret for 2 years because of how openly vile they were about vegans, just like completely unprovoked. They would just be sat at lunch and they'd just be bashing vegans basically, or like if something came on the radio. And so they made their opinions about it like perfectly clear. They knew I was vegetarian and they thought that I still was at that point, and I just kept my mouth shut. And then one day they just asked me, oh, are you vegan? And I was like, yeah, I am. I've actually been vegan for 2 years. And they were absolutely flabbergasted. And then it just kind of like went from there. But it's actually turned out really positively. Now my boss is mostly plant-based. They're always asking me questions about veganism. And if something comes up on the radio at work, they'll ask me my opinion on it. I basically don't hold anything back. I tell them all the graphic, gory details about everything. And like I said in the other video, I wear a vegan t-shirt every day and it's constant, oh, which are you wearing today? What's the message today? And all this kind of thing. And I'm always being asked, oh, you know, if I did this, would this be acceptable? And lots of like stupid hypothetical scenarios I get asked about. But they're always the ones that bring veganism up. And this is all a result of taking the pledge basically and then being curious about the bracelets. So yeah, I would recommend it.
That's the same for me.
Definitely
like
start conversations.
Yeah, definitely a conversation starter. Like I found that before I'd taken the pledge, and I've said this before, I would be the one that would bring it up a little bit more than other people, and it would be around the dinner table and they would get agitated and there would be an argument and it wouldn't end very well. Whereas I find us now that I'm asking them to eat vegan when they're with me, they bring up the questions and it's a lot more relaxed and they're less offended by my decision to be vegan than they perhaps were before. That's how I feel anyway. I feel I have more positive conversations with family and friends than I did before I'd taken the pledge. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think I agree with you actually. Yeah, most people have been really good about it, and once they know, then you don't have to tell them again. They know, and that's it. It's like my sister and I went out last week with my mum for the first time in ages to a local Chinese, and we didn't even have to remind my mum or ask her, and she just ate vegan. And she really enjoyed it. So I'm very proud of my mum because she's very averse to trying new foods, and everything she tried was something different to, yeah.
Oh, well, that's really nice to hear. And then can you give me, so you're saying they've been quite supportive, so we kind of like segued onto my next question without me having to ask it, that people have been really supportive about it and work have been great. With my work, and I think I need to do like a little solo video about this, but first time I just ate on my own outside because there's canteen with lots of different tables, and people would always ask me before I took the pledge, are you okay with me sitting here and eating this food in front of you? And I'd always go yes, but inside I was like, no, I'm not all right with it. And now I've had people come up and they've sat down and I'm like, sorry, what are you eating? And they're like, can I sit here? And I've asked them, I said, no, sorry, do you mind sitting over there on that table instead? And then I've had colleagues that have bought, I mean, I've been working from home the last 18 months, but before lockdown 1, I had friends bringing in vegan food so they could sit with me. So that was really nice as well. That was a nice little touch. So I didn't have to be on my own. Not that I don't mind being on my own. I just get a book out and read and eat. So it's like fine. It's like nice and quiet. Can you give me an example of where you've had a bad experience or a bad reaction to your liberation pledge?
I'd say because of when I took the pledge and because of like the way the world has gone with COVID and everything, the opportunities to be eating out with people have been quite few and far between. So I've been really lucky in that I haven't had a really negative reaction to it thus far. So yeah, I don't really have, I was going to say only really the work, but that was mostly my fear of telling them about it, about being vegan in general, rather than them being horrible about it. So yeah, it's been positive.
And aside from your mum trying lots of different foods which she's not used to, can you give me an example of a positive reaction you've had to the pledge?
I was going to say that was my one positive thing, because like most of the people that I hang out with now are already vegan, so we go out for vegan food and we tend to go to like completely vegan places anyway. So again, it's not really been an issue. So
Yeah.
no.
And can you see any problems? Can you foresee any problems that you might have with the pledge? Any situation?
No, I can't really. Like, I'm not brilliant at being sociable, and now, since trying to become more involved with activism and stuff in general, all of the people that I am meeting and befriending are already vegan, so it's not really an issue at all.
Oh, well, that's good. I was worried. There's been one situation where I haven't been able to live the pledge, and that was a funeral, and it just didn't feel like it was appropriate to do it then, at the wake afterwards. But no, apart from that, I've had lots of difficult situations, unfortunately, but I've had some really positive ones too. So my brother, I went to stay with my brother and his girlfriend, and he hid all the food in his fridge because he was worried it would upset me. And him and his kids and his girlfriend ate vegan the whole weekend, and it was just fantastic.
Oh.
So that was really sweet. Yeah, no, I really started crying. He's like, "Oh, look what I've done in the fridge," really proudly showing me, which was really sweet. And
but it's like, obviously it upsets us, but it's like, why doesn't it upset them? Why don't they really think of what it is, who it is that they're eating? Oh,
yeah, I know. And he did ask loads of questions. We got there, and my husband, we got there late because they live up north. My husband's like, "No," and I was like, "He's asked me, I'm going to answer them." And my brother was like, "No, it's fine. She's all right. Let her answer." So, and his girlfriend has cut back a lot. Like, she's not there, but she has cut back a lot. I won't go into the reasons why, because I mean they do watch my channel, which is really nice of them. So they are really supportive. They're what Melanie Joy would call vegan allies, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Not that I kind of agree with that term, but yeah. What would you say to other people thinking about taking the pledge?
I would say definitely go for it. From my experience, it's been positive. Even if it is negative, it's still starting conversations. You're still putting your case across for the animals. Yeah, I just think don't be afraid and just go for it.
And what has it made? Has it made a difference in your life, you taking the pledge?
I'd say it has, because I wear my bracelets all the time. I sleep in them. I don't take them off. It's a constant reminder. It just makes me think about the animals. I think about them 24/7 anyway, but it's a physical thing that, yeah, it just keeps me thinking about it. And like I've said, it does start conversations. People notice them, curious about them, want to know what it's about. So yeah, it's another outward way of showing how I feel about animals, really. And I'm not ashamed of being vegan. Why should I be? I'm proud to be vegan, and yeah.
Cool. Well, as Mippy Valentine would say, get your fork on.
Yeah.
Get your fork on. And thanks again for joining me. And hopefully people will be inspired to maybe take the pledge, and they might be able to connect with you how they haven't connected with me or one of the other pledge people that I've spoken to. So I really hope they do and take it, because I think it's a great form of activism. I really do. I think it's quite powerful and strong, because it makes people realise how serious you are. That you won't even watch them being eaten, which is good. Thanks again. So I hope you enjoyed that, and if you have been inspired to take the Liberation Pledge because of listening to Laura, then please drop a comment below. I'd love to find out more if I've inspired you or if someone else has inspired you to do something. And if you want to see Laura's other interview about her activism, just click on this link here. I'll never remember which side it is. I'll pop it up anyway. I want to say a massive thank you to my Patreons that support me on my Patreon page, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like and share this video. If you want to support me, check out the Patreon link below. Thanks Beans, see you next time.